So, high school, I went to Massillon High School. For undergraduate, I went to University of Wisconsin Milwaukee. Growing up, I struggled with my self-esteem, not feeling beautiful and questioning my worth. College is where I really started to come out of my comfort zone and discover who I was as a person. While I was at UWM, I had the pleasure to meet amazing people that was always willing to offer a helping hand and help hold me accountable, so I was able to graduate in 4 years. While at UWM, I was blessed to study abroad twice. Thailand for 3 months in 2017, and London for 4 weeks in July 2018. While in Thailand, I got the opportunity to ride elephants, go skydiving, and create lifelong bonds with people from different cultures. While in London, I had the chance to create memories and meet people I would never forget. London motivated me to go to law school and to one day open my own organization to help those being wrongfully convicted. Some useful advice for you guys.
Could be, that I aspire them to be the best they could be, and to know that the best is in front of them and is not behind them.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And not to focus on their mistakes, but on their future.
Absolutely.
I want to leave behind the fact that you can literally do whatever you put your heart and mind to. I think one thing that holds us back is fear, thinking that something's not going to work out. And instead of just jumping in, we just don't do it. So I really want my children and the children after me and just the people in general to know that you don't have to work for anybody to live. You don't have to work for anybody to make it. So, yeah.
Your love is rated X. That means you're extra.
Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Destined To Be, and today we have a special guest, Jacarrie Kicks For Kids.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me today. I definitely appreciate it.
Let's jump right on in. What motivated you to start Jacarrie Kicks For Kids?
So, I started Jacarrie Kicks For Kids. It was 2012. I was trying to figure a way to get kids' attention, figure ways to get kids' attention, but at the same time be able to steer them in the right direction. And so I noticed from a lot of kids, you just can't say pull your pants up or get a 3-pointer or whatnot, because they're gonna look at you crazy like, what?
Yes.
So I'm like, man, what way can I get these kids' attention, and I can really have them locked in? So I'm like, you know what? I love being fly. I love shoes. I love clothes. Let me collect gently used and new shoes, give them a brand new colorway, kind of refurbish and customize them, and then give them to kids in need. And so I came up with that concept. And then my mom had a daycare, so I would just be up there helping at the daycare, training boys in basketball, helping with homework. And we had this kid who was the middle kid of 10. I think it's 10 or 11, one of the two. But he had really big holes in his shoes as we were trying to play basketball. And he was just saying he wanted to try out for the team, but they gonna talk about me, and my confidence ain't high with these down with the hoes. So I reached out through social media, Facebook, Instagram. I think Snapchat was still going. No, it was at the time that was going on, and I was able to get a brand new pair of Lakers 7s for the kid, and I gave it to him. He was super happy. After that, his grades went up. He started playing basketball. He started playing AAU that summer. So the results off the pair of shoes was crazy after that, and that's when I knew what I was destined to do.
That's amazing. How long have you had your business?
So I've been running Jacarrie Kicks For Kids. This is my 7th year now. So I'm 7 years in.
How long have you had your other business, landscaping?
The landscaping, I've been doing that for I've been doing that for about 8 years.
Wow.
So I started off working for the county, and then after I wanted to go to school full time and not have to work and balance school. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start my own, and I started that right off Facebook. Yeah.
That's amazing. What's some challenges you face being an entrepreneur?
Challenges I face being an entrepreneur is, friends. That's the biggest thing. Friends kind of see you as who you used to be and not who you are now. So, deliberating between business and personal relationships with friends. Just making sure people aren't trying to beat me. That's one of the biggest challenges, because people will say they kids in need or they ain't got this or that, and the whole time they got it, they just want some shoes.
Trying to get over.
Swindle Nation. And then other than that, funding is another thing, a challenge we face, because a lot of the grants and things, they give those to the bigger organizations, but they forget that the grassroots organizations is doing all the work.
Yes.
So we get some funding, but the funding we really deserve, we don't get.
How do you apply for the scholarships and grants? How did you find out about those?
So I'm big on YouTube University. So thankful for
Same.
UWM, but YouTube University, Google University, they help you with all the answers you need. You just gotta research it.
Any advice you have for someone looking to start their own business?
Uh, if you're looking to start a business based off of something you have a passion for. Because when you wake up daily, it won't feel like work. It'll just feel like, man, I'm going to do what I love. When you chase money when starting a business, every day you wake up, you're going to dread it because you like, man, I really don't want to do this, but I want the money. So if I can give any advice is be passionate about what you do and start a business about something you're passionate about. That way, as you do it every day and you get better, you just like, man, I love what I do because this is naturally what I'm meant to do.
Exactly, and the money ain't gonna come
And
right away.
No, money gonna come, but you just gotta wait on perfect time. You can't make it about you, so you're gonna take some L's when you first start. But the goal is to keep processing through it, and then at the end you'll get the money. You just gotta wait on it to come.
Exactly. What did you say for undergrad and graduate school?
Undergrad, I went to school for educational policies and community studies, and then for my master's, I went to school for cultural foundations and educations and community leadership. So for my undergrad, I was really big on like trying to like tweak the educational system a little bit because I feel like a lot of policies, a lot of stuff just as far as education needs to change badly. And then as far as my master's, I was more focused on the nonprofit realm, and then also trying to figure out just more ways to be cultural and ways to to display those different cultural foundations of education.
Okay. Do you believe college is worth it with all the everybody going in debt and stuff?
I personally believe it is. So I would say this: when I was growing up, I graduated high school from Milwaukee Lutheran in 2010. I feel like college was one of the most needed things ever. And I always tell people with debt, you're gonna owe. If you get a house, you're gonna owe mortgage. If you rent, you're gonna owe rent. You're gonna always be in debt. So don't think about the debt part. Think about the connections. Think about the networks. Think about the knowledge. Think about all the opportunities that college presents. Because college doesn't guarantee you anything. It just puts you in a field where opportunities are present. So I would say I feel like college is needed, but at the same time, in 2020, college isn't really as big as it used to be from when I was growing up. So nowadays, you can take a trade, and you can make some decent money. A lot of these kids nowadays are entrepreneurs, so they starting their own business. And then some people just rather work a family sustaining job instead of going to school because this is putting people in more debt than they've been in through life. So they're just feeling like, man, I don't want that. I'm good.
Any tips for parents whose child is struggling with reading?
Yes, definitely. Have them read on the daily.
Yes.
Have your kids reading on the daily, whether it's a comic book, it's a short novel, long novel, super easy, super hard. Just have them reading because reading is essential. And one thing our kids don't like to do, they don't like to read. They'll look at Google, they'll look at Facebook. We finding our answers off everything except for just reading it for ourselves. So the biggest thing is having them kids in front of books on the daily because you can't help the kid from struggling if you're not doing nothing to help his reading level. So if I'm not reading with you on the daily, if I'm not sounding words out or rereading sentences back to you and having you repeat them to me, if I'm not doing none of that work, then my kid is going to fail. My kid is going to be at the bottom of the barrel. But if I'm putting in hours at home, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, if I'm reading, okay, we're going to read this comic book, then move to a short novel, then a long, you're making progress. So the goal is to keep those kids doing the things they struggle at.
I agree. What more would you like to see from the education system?
That's a great question. As far as the education system, I would like to see less racism. I feel like one thing I always tell people is with education, no matter if you're teaching in the suburbs or if you're teaching in what they like to call urban, let's just classify the kids as kids. Because I feel like when you say suburban, you say white, and when you say urban, you say black. And the biggest problem I think we have is we have a lot of white teachers coming to work with black kids in urban settings, which is cool, but they don't have any cultural training. And that's one of the biggest things because you can't, these teachers are 21, 22, new, jumping in, going to a urban school, but they're straight from the suburbs, so they don't have any recollection of these black kids. They don't know their culture. They don't know nothing about them. They just come in thinking they're going to be the white savior, and that messes everything up. So as a whole, as far as education, we need to have a cultural awareness training. We need to have teachers attending community events, like really thoroughly getting to know the kids that they serve. And we need to stop focusing so much on education. I feel like in the education system, it's so focused on education that we're missing the most important part, which is relationship building. Because no kid is gonna pay attention. They're gonna cause hell if they don't have a relationship with you. But if you got them kids with a relationship, they'll listen more, they'll grasp more onto what you're saying, they'll be more open to what you're saying, and they'll understand it from a different perspective. Maybe the perspective of more they're trying to help rather than they just trying to stop me from having fun.
Yes. It all start with trust
Straight up, yup.
and understanding the background they come from. Like some people don't have parents,
Straight
and they
up.
need somebody just to listen and care.
I led a workshop at the Center for Urban Teaching 2020 Unite Conference, and my topic was understanding student circumstances outside the classroom. Just getting them to understand what poverty looks like, getting them to understand how hard it is for one parent to take care of 3, 4 kids, getting them to understand how having a minimum wage job with 4 or 5 kids, how parents aren't really active because they want to do something good for themselves and things like that. And there's just issues that teachers need to try to understand. They need to build it in their curriculum to understand their kids more, because once you understand, you know how to adapt. So,
Yes. Do you think growing up in a two-parent household played a role in the man you are today?
oh, definitely, definitely. Me having my mom and my dad was huge. Even though we started off in poverty, everything was still hard when they first had me. Me being able to go to my dad was amazing. Like my mom growing up, she couldn't go to football games, basketball games, none of that, because if anybody hit her baby, she was ready to fight or she was
Yeah.
gonna be on that. My dad more was the calm when he'd take me everywhere. He was my coach. He'd show me the things like, and it's just so much bigger because you get to learn how to become a man from a man. I feel like when your dad is there, it's like amazing, especially when you can walk in every day in the house and see your dad. So I feel like me having them is the reason why I'm so successful. If I didn't have them, it would definitely not be. I wouldn't be in this predicament at least.
Amazing. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
That's a good question. So in 5 years, I see Jacarrie Kicks For Kids being like a YMCA Boys and Girls Club type structure. But you know, at the YMCA and the Boys and Girls Club, you could just go in and leave as you please. Mine wouldn't be like that. So let's say Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, there's going to be workshops. So life skill workshops, interview do's and don'ts, computer literacy workshops, how to create a resume, how to apply for jobs, how to apply for FAFSA. Just giving them kids kind of like all the life skills they need to survive in a world that's constantly changing. I think if you make it like that, you force the kids to do better and let them know that it's way bigger than basketball or track. Because what the kids don't understand is once you get hurt playing those sports, you're not as good, you're not as wanted. So you need to have a backup plan, and your backup plan needs to be something good. It's like their education. So I tell them all the time, when I do get mine 5 years from now, there's going to be a couple huge facilities. I would love for them to be in a few different states, but I would love for it to focus on workshops and the gym piece, not just come in, have a good time, and leave.
Exactly. They have to learn as well.
Yes, you got to learn something.
If you can pass any lesson down to your son, what would it be?
Word is bond.
Word
So
is
just
bond.
make sure, make sure you keep your word.
Yes.
Make sure when you say you're going to do something, do it. Because people are always, they count on you once you use your word. And then my other one would be just be cautious of everything you do because it can affect you. And when I say that, I mean it like me with the statue I have now. I just can't be on the internet with my middle finger up, or I can't be on the internet going crazy rapping the worst of the worst songs. Like, I have to be mindful of my surroundings because I hold a different stature with a lot of people here. So just watching what you do as you get older, because that social media piece will be huge once my son gets older.
Yes. Especially when you represent the brand.
Yes, ma'am.
Can't be out here cussing or
Yes,
acting.
ma'am.
You're not just representing yourself, you represent your family, your
Yes.
brand.
And people, I done seen people, they represent their company, but they on Facebook cussing, sending screenshots of this and that. Like, I don't want it to be like that.
Arguing.
Yeah.
Interfering. Like, once I see somebody arguing back and forth, I'm like, I'm not doing business with them anymore.
They be forcing it, like.
Any advice you would give a boy watching this video right now who is struggling with his identity, struggling to fit in, and not having a positive male role model in his life?
My advice would be just understand you're a king, which is hard for a lot of us because a lot of times we not looked at in the scope of a king. We looked up at the scope of a nigga. So them just understanding they're a king and then understanding the importance of having a relationship with God. So it's important to wake up and have them talks. Hey, prayer is powerful. So pray that you get the right role models. Pray that God puts you in surroundings with some good people. But at the same time, accountability, holding yourself accountable, and making sure you don't put yourself in positions where you know you can't grow. And then find you some brothers that really are amazing and lock on to them. Because that's what I did. I locked on to some amazing people, not knowing how amazing they would be, and it just turned out to be like super, super dope. But that's the key, is locking on to people who doing positive things, who can influence you and change your mindset.
Yes. I like how you brought up that they have to identify as a king, say them self-affirmations and stuff.
Yeah.
I went and seen this play last week called Black Like Me, and they discussed the effect of the nigga word.
Yeah.
And they brought up that when our ancestors was lynched, the last word they heard was nigga, so that's why we shouldn't use it as a term of endearment.
And that's true.
I never even thought of it like that.
And I ain't either. I ain't never, and I still say, don't get me wrong.
I say it too,
but
like,
I ain't
especially
never
if I'm
think of
rapping
it
or
like,
something.
I ain't never think like, dang, that's probably was the last thing they really heard. Like, dang, yeah, that's deep.
Any advice for someone being bullied?
Yes, if you're being bullied, do not harm yourself. Do not harm nobody else. Talk to someone. Talk to someone who's an authority. I know everybody playing the code of not trying to be a snitch or whatnot, but if you feel like it's life or death, where you feeling like you're about to harm someone, make sure you talk to somebody that's in control, because bullying that's just what it is. It's somebody trying to have fun time off the expense of you. And what I did back in the day was I read back, so ribbing was like huge. But the kids today can't do that. They can't accept being ribbed or nothing like that. So just understanding that they words, understanding that people is gonna keep trying it, but you gonna have to set them straight. And that don't necessarily mean fighting. That means just me letting you know that it's not gonna happen. Me telling the authority, me telling the police or whatnot. I'm getting everybody involved for you to understand that it's not sweet.
Exactly. And also, I was bullied back when I was younger, so it's comfortable to know who you are and take that time to just pray and don't remind yourself in a couple years it won't matter.
Yep, straight up. It will not matter.
Any advice for young girls who struggle with confidence and look towards men for validation?
Yes. Ladies, the number one thing men are trying to do is they're trying to prey on women who are vulnerable. So a lot of these men are looking to satisfy themselves. And one thing you have to understand as a lady, you ladies all have something that men won't. Hate to say it on the interview, but that's true. And with a lot of men, you have to see who got your best interest. So when you're trying to figure out what's your next step, and you're kind of just weak, you need to pray. You know what I mean? You need to be strong right now and pray. And then if you feel yourself being weaker than that, you need to be around somebody who's strong and who can uplift you, and somebody that's just constantly speaking life into you. Because confiding in a man, it won't work, especially if your mental is kind of weak, or not necessarily weak, but you're just looking for love in any way, shape, or form. When men see that, they like a prey, man. They just gonna eat you up. And then when they feel like they done, they gonna spit you out. So just knowing your worth, I think that's a great way to end it.
Yes.
Knowing your worth, knowing what you're worth, knowing how much work you put into your life, knowing what your end desires is all key for women dealing with those issues.
Thank you so much, Jacarrie, for coming and sit down with Destinedd To Be. Here is a special gift.
Yes, I definitely
To appreciate
it.
you for coming and sit down and taking the time out
Let's
your
dig
day.
in before we get off. Ooh.
Hold on, I don't think they can see your gifts.
Okay, so definitely a surprise, and gratitude is my attitude. So we got some bronze that a kid can definitely use. These are hooping shoes. These are walking shoes. These are stylish. These are fresh. We have some Jordan 12s, the taxis to be exact, which are fire. And then the best gift we have
Say the best for last.
is our Destined To Be shirt, which represents this amazing show, which you guys can check out on YouTube. So listen, man. Make sure y'all support and get this merch. It's fire. You see it on her. Can't wait to put mine on. Gratitude is my attitude. This is really amazing.
Make sure you take pictures.
Definitely. A lot of pictures.
Okay. What's your social media that people can find you at?
So you guys can tap in and find me at Jacarrie. That's Jacarrie Carr. That's on Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook for my business is Jacarrie Kicks For Kids. And then my Instagram is JK4K _ nonprofit. Please check in with me, guys, so y'all can see me rocking my fly Destined To Be shirt. Need to reach me in any way. I'm active on social media. I'm active in real life. You can go on my website, which is www.jk4k.org. The site is absolutely amazing. You can always get in contact with me on the site. You can contact us. You can leave comments. You can volunteer and sign up for volunteering, and so many more great things. So I definitely appreciate the opportunity to even be on your show. I know this your new show, but it's going to be huge.
Again, thank you, Jacarrie. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, guys.